And what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Talkin Football podcast. Today, in episode 57, we are going to be going over week 6. Can't believe we're already there. We're a third of the way through the NFL season already. Absolutely bonkers that we made it this far, but we're still trucking. I apologize for not posting on Instagram this past week. We will try and get on that. Let me hit the intro. Let's get right into recapping week 6 of the NFL season. Week 6 was a very, I feel like I say fun every week. It was an interesting week. There was the primetime games did not go the way I was expecting at all. I mean, on Thursday night, the Giants clobbered the Eagles. I'll be honest, as a Giants fan, I was not watching it. I wasn't. I watched a couple plays, a select plays. Why? I was watching the Cubs, watching some baseball, some NLDS action. Good game to watch. Cubs won. Obviously, they didn't win the series for those who watch baseball. Cubs ended up losing on Saturday. But I was like, you know what? I'd rather watch the Cubs, rather watch some playoff baseball than watch this sorry team. But then said sorry team beats the best team in their division by 17 points. First New York Giants Thursday night win since in like 15 years, I want to say. This is our first, it's our first home win since against the Eagles since 23. Before 23, I think it was 20. No, I guess it was 21. Something about the Giants. They beat the Eagles at MetLife every now and then. They go on these kind of streaks because they beat the Eagles obviously on Thursday. They beat the Eagles in 23. That was the New Year's Day. Was that their like? No, never mind. I'm tweaking out. That then before that they didn't win in 22, but they won in 21 and they won in 20, 19, 18 now. And then they didn't beat the Eagles for a while after that. But regardless, they won. Let's go to Sunday night. Lions, Chiefs. Oh man, that looked like it was going to be a slugfest early. They were trading big blows, and then Kansas City just ran away with it. A little surprised about that. I'm very mad, Jahmyr Gibbs. Very unhappy with you. 7.5 points. Not good. My fantasy team expects better. We got to do better than that, man. My fantasy team is horrible this week. I don't know about you guys. 100 points for me. First loss of the season. I need more. Kansas City won that game. We'll talk about a suspension that happened at the end of that game. Because the Lions, even though you're down by 10, game's over. You're going to have to fight right after. Sometimes a little too much grit, kind of kills you, So, I don't know. They got a doubleheader on Monday night. We also have a doubleheader on Monday night for week 7. But the structure is different. It's a 7 and 10 o'clock game versus the 7:15, the 8:15, which I think is way better. I think that's a much better structure. If you're just a football fan, you're like, yeah, I'll watch both games. You're going to be up from 7 to like, I don't know, like 1 in the morning watching football. And I don't know about you guys, but I'd rather watch Red Zone than do that because Red Zone, they always got something for you to watch instead of just commercials or whatever. That's not fun to watch. It was kind of fun though yesterday when I'm recording this. Flipping back and forth between the Bills and the Falcons. Man, Atlanta confuses me. And then obviously flipping back and forth between that game and the Commanders and Bears, which was actually really fun. It was a really fun game. Good games in the prime time. Confusing, but good games in those prime time slots there. Speaking of fantasy, I talked about that earlier. Josh Allen Not good enough. I need more. I can't say for him to do that much more. I mean, look, the dude's been carrying me all year. He has a bad game. Fine. Only make it one, though. Yeah, he actually has a bye week this upcoming week. All right, let's get into the action. Now we're done talking about the primetime games. Week 6 injury report. Smaller, but bigger names on this list. Let's start off with the out for the years. Miles Sanders, running back for the Cowboys, he's out for the year. After the first couple of weeks, he kind of lost his touch. Javonte Williams has totally catapulted into that RB1 spot, and he's been there. So Miles Sanders, that's like 4 to 5 touches a game that the Cowboys are losing. They have to figure out where they're going to go after that. Maybe they go with, oh my goodness, Deuce Vaughn, is that his name? The really short guy who they drafted out of Kansas State or TCU, one of those purple schools. They go to him, but Sanders is out for the year. And I come to think of it, I actually get really frustrated because everyone's like, "Oh, Miles Sanders, yeah, he's a bum. He's always been a bum." No, he hasn't been. You forget how good he was with Philly, man. He was a good ball player, a very good ball player, and I want to say he was on the team that made the Super Bowl against the Chiefs, the 38-35 team. Am I making that up? No, I'm not making that up. I'm truthing right now. And then goes to the Panthers, gets like nothing from them. That doesn't work out. He's hurt all the time. They have to get rid of him. Goes to Dallas. Now he's out for the year again. Sanders cannot get over the injury bug, which sucks to see. Another out for the year is Fred Warner. Dislocated ankle, broken ankle, whatever. He just got surgery on it. Shanahan confirmed. Fred Warner, nada. He's done for the season. The injuries in San Francisco and in Baltimore, too. Baltimore doesn't have any, surprisingly, on this list, but the injuries are just piling up for both of those teams. And then, plus, you can't forget the pre-existing injuries. I mean, I just saw that Brandon Ayuk, even when he's healthy, he might not even come back because for reasons I don't know. You're getting 30 a year to be an above average wide receiver, and you're not going to play. Okay, that's your choice, but like, it does not make sense to me. You're getting the bag, just play for the team. Because if you're sitting out, let's talk about that for a little bit. Just if you're sitting out, no one knows what you got. People are assuming like, oh, maybe you can be the guy from 21 to 23. Pre-ACL tear, pre-contract drama. But you're not getting that guy. That Ayuk was a fun, good, pretty much like number 8 receiver in the league. He's not anywhere close to that anymore. Just play. I don't get it. Whatever. Fred Warner, though, nonetheless, is out for the year. Injuries keep piling up in San Francisco. Now let's get to the ankle injuries that I really don't know much about. They're being incredibly vague with them. Maybe testing isn't done yet. Let's start with the best rookie in the NFL, Emeka Egbuka. Egbuka suffered an ankle injury in the third quarter of the Bucs and the Niners game on Sunday. He left the game, was questionable, quickly doubtful, then out. How long he's going to be out for, we don't know. That's still to be determined. Based on what I know, best case scenario was like 2 to 3 weeks. Worst case scenario was 6 to 8. And this is a wide receiver room that's already banged up. Evans is hurt. Godwin is still kind of lingering. Even I think he was actually out this past week. So who's left? They got Sterling Shepard. They got Tez Johnson. They got Cameron Johnson, spelled with a K. I did not know that. I just figured that out this past week. He actually played really well, Cameron Johnson. He was up for Dog of the Week voting. Did not get much of anything, but he's there. And they have, oh my gosh, I'm totally blanking on who the other receiver is there. But they have other guys, but not anyone who's like totally serviceable. Callahan is down there as well as a tight end, but still. So without Egbuka, and Evans and Godwin, their options are limited. Keep in mind, Bucky Irving is still out. That's a really, really rough offense to watch. They're not in a spot to say, let's get someone else. I mean, you just got to rock with your guys. Because at some point, you're going to have overload in there, and you can't have that. I think they're doing MRI testing. I think right now he's questionable. I mean, on Yahoo Fantasy, again, take that for granted. Take it with a grain of salt. Egbuka could play. I think it's going to be a thing where it's like, oh yeah, he's day to day, and then quickly out for a couple weeks. That's the Brian Dable special right there. I don't remember who it was. There was a Giants player who tore his ACL, and after the game, someone asked Dable about it, and he was like, "Yeah, he's day to day." Next day, they're like, "Oh, anything on him?" "Yeah, he's day to day." And then later that day, they said torn ACL. It's like, really, whatever. But I would not expect Egbuka to play this week. But again, I guess we'll see. Other major ankle injury is with the Rams. The best player in football this year, period, has been Puka Nacua. And he currently has an ankle injury. Same thing with Egbuka. I don't have anything more on him. We're still waiting to see what that's going to be like. In the meantime, if you have Puka on your fantasy team, trade for Devontae Adams, get Tutu Atwell, get Whittingham, get all those guys. Adam, if someone's selling Kyron Williams low, buy. All of it. BYBUY. Can't spell. Make sure you're going after those extra supplement guys. Because that will save you. Because then when Puka's back, then you can share the wealth. I'm a big fan of stacking. I know that's not a popular thing to do, but I like stacking. I think stacking is really helpful. Not for my team this past week with Shakir and Allen. That was bad. But most of the time it works out for me. Brian Branch, not an injury, but I want to talk about it. Brian Branch was suspended for one game. It's an injury. He's on the injury report. He's out. He gets suspended for a week due to his post-game actions against the Chiefs. The game was over, and Branch got in a fight with Kareem Hunt. That resulted in a big scuffle at midfield. During the video that someone recorded of going up to it, you can really funny. It's kind of funny. You can hear Patrick Mahomes going, "Get out of the way! Oh, just get off him!" And like, okay, that was funny. Just listening to Kermit talk like that, but nonetheless, Brian Branch is suspended for a game. That's a big time loss for the Lions right there. Branch, who is their signal caller, he's got that. If you guys watch the Lions, which I'm sure most of you do, he's got that green like mouthpiece, weird sticky thingy on the back of his helmet that's saying, "Look, I'm the play caller." So they're going to lose him. Who are they going to go to? My best guess is Jack Campbell. Jack Campbell's been really good this year. Maybe Anzalone. He's been a veteran of this defense for a very long time. Maybe him. I think it's going to be one of those guys. Keep in mind, this is a defense. Kirby Joseph, even though he's playing, he is banged up a little bit. Terrion Arnold, he's hurt. These guys are banged up in the secondary big time, and they this suspension cannot come at a worse time. And just for what it's worth, the Lions, okay, in my opinion, have played 2 games on the road that were hard, and they got exposed in both of them. They lost by double digits in both of those games. The offense couldn't get going. Defense was getting torn apart. That's why I'm like, I don't know about the Lions. I really don't. I don't know how to feel about them. Great team, but like, I don't know. We'll figure that out. Za'Darius Smith retired. I mean, lost by 17 to the Giants. He was actually signed with the Eagles. I totally forgot about that. And he retired. Okay. Good to know. Thanks, Za'Darius, for letting us know. On the Colts, if you guys saw, 2 pregame injuries. Charvarius Ward got a concussion during pregame warmups, and then Anthony Richardson somehow got an eye injury. I think if you guys have ever watched Paul Skeens warm up, where he has like that really long band that he kind of like works with to like get his shoulders and get his hips going. I think Anthony Richardson was using that, and it somehow flung into his eye, and then he was out for the game because of it. If you can spell made of glass, it's right in front of you. I mean, that, like, I read that, I'm like, are you serious? An eye injury? And look, I know eye injuries are like, I'm not saying like you can play through that. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, really? You didn't like strain your ankle, maybe like stepping into a throw or something, you hurt your eye. And I know they're not fun to deal with. Whew, man, Anthony Richardson is not. If there's any light at the end of the tunnel, he's like 3 marathons away from it. I don't know. Let's get into the news. College football news. This is not even like NFL news. Every now and then, you guys know, outside of the draft, we dip our toes in a little bit. Not a lot. We dip our toes in a little bit into college football. Let's talk about Penn State. They stink. They're so bad. They're so bad. And you guys know Danny. He's on the DK film room. He was on the Super Bowl live stream. He's a big Penn State fan. Actually, during not to be funny, I think during the Super Bowl live stream, I think he showed up with an Abdul Carter shirt or jersey. So that's how you know he's a Penn State fan. Yeah, he's been going through it. I can tell you that right now. And I don't blame him. Penn State, they have 3 losses already. They're not even ranked. And you know how bad it is. Penn State and Ohio State, that's your fun. Yeah, let's go Big Ten smash mouth. I'm going to kick your teeth in. I'm going to take your helmet off, whatever, bang. I'm going to rush for 3 billion yards. I'm going to rush for 4 billion yards, whatever. That's your smash mouth Big Ten classic football there. Big noon. For reasons I don't know. I think that's the stupidest thing. One of the stupidest things ever, that the fact that Ohio State has so many big noon games. I heard that Fox, who, they have the big noon kickoff where they have like the panel of guys and Dave Portnoy. They're considering not going to Ohio State because of how bad Penn State is. They go to like the big, premier, let's call it match. Wow. Premier game. And they're like, I don't know where they were this past weekend, but, like Ohio State and Texas, they went to. I think they were at when Penn State was good. They went to the Penn State Oregon game. They probably went to. I'm sure maybe Indiana, Oregon. I'm sure they probably went to. Like they go to those kind of games. Penn State and Ohio State is one of the ones they probably struggle on their calendar. You're probably finding the magic eraser to get rid of that. I mean, Penn State stinks. They have 3 losses on the year. 1 to Oregon, which isn't a bad loss. Oregon just played such a good game there in Happy Valley. Happy Valley or Death Valley? Whatever valley it is. Dan Lanning had those guys coached so well. They played an amazing game. However, this is 2 straight losses for Penn State to a previously winless UCLA with Nico. I'm a Liava. Holy cow! I feel bad because I just learned how to say Donovan Izaraku, his name. If you guys remember from the mock drafts I did in April. Oh, it's like Donovan. Let's just call him Boston College guy. Yeah, that's how I feel with Nico right now. But Nico, we can call him Nico. Against a Nico-led UCLA team that was 0-4, and they were horrible. I mean, they suck. They are horrible. I could beat them. I'm sure all of you guys who are watching, we can make a team and we can beat UCLA. That team beat Penn State. Holy cow. Okay. Then this past week, Penn State not even ranked anymore when they're playing Northwestern. Northwestern, who they suck. They're even worse. Maybe not worse than UCLA, but they're among that area. They always have a couple of really good prospects every year, but they don't have a good overall team. They went into Beaver Stadium and they beat Penn State. Now James Franklin's gone. Drew Allar is also done for the year with an ankle or foot injury, I want to say. So they're a mess, Penn State. And they're like, we're going to fire James Franklin. There's, just in case you guys are curious, I would have a very hard time believing that Franklin would go to the NFL. I don't see that happening. The only way I can see him getting there is if he goes to a smaller college school that's like, you know what, let's just take a chance on a Big Ten coach, and then maybe he works his way back up. I don't see that happening, though. I'm sure there'll be a small school that'll be like, yeah, we'll take him on. Why not? Maybe like a total hypothetical. Maybe UNC when Bill Belichick's like, I can't do this anymore. That wouldn't surprise me. He's not built for the ACC, but I guess we can see. I also heard that Matt Rule, who's currently coaching Nebraska, I heard that he left the door open. Someone asked him about it, and he said, yeah, I love Nebraska, but that's interesting because they have Dylan Raiola there, and he's been very good. Nebraska's been winning games. They're not ranked, I don't think, but Nebraska's they're notable. They can beat you. They can beat really any team, I think. Anybody can beat any team, but I believe that more with Nebraska than anyone else. So where they go with this, I don't know. There's not a lot of other options out there other than Matt Rule, based on what I know. I don't know. I guess we'll see. Maybe they'll hire Brian Callahan, who just got taken out of his job in Tennessee. The Titans fired Brian Callahan after how many weeks? 23 weeks. This dude currently is 1-4. Yeah, right. Yeah, 1-4 or 1-5. The one win being against the Cardinals, where they totally blew that lead. That was ugly, man. I don't remember what I did when I graded these head coaching grades. I'll look back in the Talkin Football archives and see what grade I gave this hire, because I think I liked it. I was like, yeah, offensive guy, I will look back and we'll see. I don't think I was a big fan of it. I also didn't think they needed to move on from Mike Vrabel, so I'm not totally sure. I'm not going to say what I thought on it, but I knew after last season he was not the guy. He's just not a good coach. Okay, with all due respect, he's just not a good coach. Offensive coordinator, sure. Quarterback coach, sure. We saw that in Cincinnati. He worked so well with that team, but decision making not there with Tennessee. Yes, that team stinks. That offense stinks. Outside of Cam Ward, who is a bona fide stud, that dude can play. And maybe sometimes from Tony Pollard, they are a bunch of scrubs. Calvin Ridley is not that good anymore. Tyler Lockett is in a retirement home, or he should be in one. Van Jefferson. I actually like Van Jefferson. I can't say anything about that. I really liked him when the Rams won the Super Bowl. I really did. I always have liked Van Jefferson, so I don't want to say anything bad about him, but he's just not a great player. Sure, Chigakonkwo's good. I mean, okay, he doesn't really move me. So basically what I'm saying, you don't have Chase, you don't have Mixon. When Mixon was with the Bengals, Callahan was there. You don't have Higgins. You don't have Boyd. Well, you do have Boyd, but you don't have Burrow. You don't have those kind of guys that you can rely on. So it's hard for him to kind of build something there. But even with what he had, he didn't really show much progress. So that's obviously not good to begin with. Who can replace him? There's one guy I'm thinking of, and a lot of people agree with me. John Gruden. It's going to be tough to get him back into the NFL. I know I think the NFL and John Gruden are still working something out with I don't know if it's the defamation suit or whatever it was with the emails that came out that he sent. But still, looks like Gruden is on top there. he's excelling at Barstool right now. Excelling. I mean, there's no if and like he is unbelievably, you know, he's been really, really good there. I love his quarterback class videos. I love his breakdowns, everything. Love it. All of that is S tier stuff. But you can tell he has a knack for it. You can tell he wants to come back. No one puts that much. I mean, some guys do, but like every single video, you see how the Giants have Jackson Dart, boom, and woof. Okay, yeah, that'll kick your teeth in. That's what Tennessee needs. They need someone who can do that. Remember how good they were when Vrabel was first the coach there and Derrick Henry was pounding the rock, smash mouth like 1970s football? That's what John Gruden would bring to this team. But he would also help Cam Ward tremendously. Now, I don't know. It's hard for me to say because it's a totally new age of the NFL. It's totally vertical. It's not really, chip. There's no such thing as chipping anymore. Teams don't do that anymore. Even the best teams that are running the football last year, like the Ravens and like the Eagles, they don't chip anymore. They just can't do it. They're not good at chipping anymore, which just like sucks to see because sometimes chipping when your team isn't playing, it's kind of fun to watch. You're like, okay, yeah, good. They don't really chip anymore. The good running teams, I think Washington is one of them with Corey Croskett-Merritt. Who else is good at running the football? Off the top of my head, I'm just trying to think. Washington, I want to say, even they're good at running the football, but guess what? They don't chip. They vertically run. Croskett-Merritt gets 10 to 15 a carry. Well, he did at least on against the Bears. That's vertical running. That's not what Gruden's about. So it's going to be a little bit harder for him to maybe enforce what he wants to. I don't know if he likes Cam Ward to begin with, but if there's someone I'm circling, it's Brian Callahan. Sorry, not true. It's John Gruden. John Gruden, I would say should replace Brian Callahan, in my opinion. Just a quick update. I can't pinpoint when is going to happen, but be on the lookout for a power rankings video in the future. Now, I'm not saying like, oh, week 17, I'm going to post a power rankings video. I'm like, no, I'm saying soon because I want to make sure I can get this out. Just be on the lookout for me to send out a power rankings video. In the meantime, just keep your eyes peeled for that. Keep in mind, it's going to be here at Talkin Football Pod. Don't bank on this. I might post my power rankings on Instagram. And if you guys want to break down, if you see them first on Instagram, always feel free to come to the Talkin Football Pod and just comment and say, hey, I don't know why you're saying this. And I'll be like, all right, well, I'll tell you why. And we'll go from there. So be on the lookout for a power rankings video in the meantime. So you guys know what I typically do, or if you don't, maybe you're new. Maybe you don't know. I typically do ballers and fallers. I started out by doing ballers, like specific players, maybe specific groups. Fallers, the players that didn't play well. Then I moved to teams. And I said, yeah, these teams played well this week. These teams did not play well this week. Given that we're through a third of the season, that doesn't help anymore. Because it's who the bottom feeders are, and everyone else is mediocre or really good. But even the really good teams, just for what it's worth, the Colts, I think, have the best record in the NFL right now, or are tied for it. Or do you think that they're, like, if you're playing Madden, do you think the Colts are an 88 overall team, or are they like an 82 overall team? Exactly. So it's hard for me to say stock up, stock down when they're really not moving that much. It's one thing to have a bad week compared to having a bad team. And there's so many teams that are just kind of stuck, and I'm like, I don't really know where to place you. So instead of balls and followers this week, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my guys. And my guys is really vague because I'm actually talking about teams. I'm not talking about players. I'm talking about teams. And what I wanted to do was I'm not saying my guys, Lions, Packers, Bills. No, that's not what we're here for. Not my guys. Jets, Titans, Saints. Wow, great analysis. That's not what we're here for. What I'm here to do is I'm here to break down 3 teams that I really, 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 really like. Okay, and that they're kind of in the middle of the pack, trying to figure out where they are. Let's talk about it. So coming into the season, just for what it's worth, my 3, if I had to pinpoint 3 teams, I was like, yeah, it would be the Cardinals. They've been okay. Not great. They've been all right. The Ravens, no, because of injuries. I think you should say that because of injuries. They've been very unfortunate with them. And then the Broncos. So let's talk about this. There's a reason I didn't talk about the Broncos. The Broncos are one of my teams, or one of my guys. Denver, look, as bad as Bo Nix has been, they win football games. They held the Jets to like under or around 100 yards. Is that a Jets problem or a Broncos? Is that a Jets problem or a Broncos good thing? I don't know. Probably more of a Jets problem. But holding an NFL team to that is crazy. When they have Brees, when they have Wilson, that's crazy. And I really like Justin Fields, and I'm having such a hard time defending him because he's not really playing well this year. But I'm like, man, I don't know. Maybe I'm tweaking out. But like, here's the thing. Denver's defense is so good. I don't think people understand how good this defense is. Nick Bonito, who I underestimated. I didn't even I was like, yeah, Bonito, he's like a good player. I'm like, yeah, I know he was drafted a while ago. And then he gets a bag, and I'm like, how good is he? And I'm looking at tape, I'm like, oh yeah, this dude's a stud. Nick Bonito is a true baller. That's what he is. Bonito, stud. Zach Allen, not Zach Gallen, not Josh Allen. Zach Allen, stud. Okay. That's what the defense is. It's just a bunch of studs. I'm totally blanking on what his first name is. It's a longer one. Talanoa Hufanga, I think is what it is. Hufanga, the safety that was with the Niners who just signed with them this offseason. Stud. He made a great play against the Jets. I don't remember. Was it a 4th down play? It may have been. And he came through and he just popped that sucker out. I was like, yeah, that's football right there. Pat Surtain, you already know. I love Justin Jefferson. Yeah, okay. But Surtain is just amazing. Riley Moss has been really good for them too. And the list kind of just goes on and on. Offensively, they're on the struggle bus a little bit. Great, but they have a game against the Giants coming up, I believe, in Denver, where they can, in my opinion, they can pick apart this defense. They can, okay? Look, as much as I love the Giants, I know where they're weak, and they're weak in the secondary. And as much as I want to say, oh, I really like this player, and I'm going to overrate him because of my bias, I don't think I can do that against the Broncos. With every incomplete pass, they're going, incomplete, against a rookie quarterback, a rookie running back, a receiving core led by little Jordan Humphrey. The Broncos have a chance to kind of pin their ears back and just go for it. Try things that you usually wouldn't. That's what they're set up for. So I think the Broncos are in a good spot to maybe get right game going offensively. Bo needs to get moving. Those wheels have not turned this year, and it's severely held them back. Sophomore slump, him not being good, generally, I don't know. I've always liked Bo Nix. I think it's more of a sophomore slump, just trying to get acclimated. Because you got the pieces. Dobbins has been really good this year. Harvey is another good running back they have. Sutton, reliable. Mims, who I'm so happy they're finally getting him involved offensively, not just on special teams. He's too fast for him to just be a special teams guy. They're getting all of them involved. Evan Ingram, he's getting the ball. Sean Payton knows what he's doing. Just a matter of making sure everyone, gets the ball. They have a good offense. It's just gotta get Bo going a little bit. Maybe trust him a little bit more. But Denver, I have them winning the division still. I don't think any other team in that division. The Chargers are not that good. The Chiefs, I don't like. The Raiders are the Raiders. The second team I really like are as a team, I've been glazing a little bit recently. But I think it's honestly, I don't care. Because as much as we all hated them, and yes, we all, other than the fan base, hated them, somehow they're likable this year. And I can look back in this in 5 years and say, what was I thinking? They're so annoying now. But they're a fun team. They win games. And they're coached so well. That coaching staff is fantastic. I'm talking about the New England Patriots. They're 4-2. They're number 1 in the AFC East. Thanks to Drake May. It doesn't matter who he's throwing to. Whether it's Pop, whether it's Diggs, whether it's Booty, don't matter. Henry, don't matter. He's going to slice you apart. I said this last week. They literally got a mobile Tom Brady. I genuinely think that. I'm trying to recall, because it was my first year doing... Was it my first year doing? Yeah, I think it was my first year doing the podcast, and I was streaming on Twitch back in the ancient times. I'm trying to remember who I thought was my number 1 QB in that draft class, if it was Daniels or if it was May. But those were my 2. I don't think I had Williams in the top 3. And the Giants love Drake May. That's a side note. That's not really relevant. May has been amazing this year. Defensively, you want to talk about them defensively? Let's talk about Christian Gonzalez. All-pro corner. Baller, 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 baller. Robert Spillane has been on another level this year. Baller. Harold Landry, who came out of nowhere. I shouldn't say that. With the Titans, was really good for a couple of years, then kind of just fell off, got hurt. Patriots, they hired Vrabel, and Vrabel's like, all right, we'll give you the bag. Oh, okay, no problem. And Landry's stud. They're working. They really are. I just don't know. They don't have a weak spot on this roster. And they are at a very fortunate time of the year where they can pick up some major wins. They have the Browns soon. They have the Falcons soon. They have the Raiders soon, I want to say. They have a lot of easier games in the upcoming weeks. Keep in mind, they haven't played the Jets once this year. They haven't played them once, I don't think, unless they played them week 1, and I'm totally wrong about that. I don't think they have. Well, you know what? They have not yet. They haven't even played the Jets this year. That's 2 wins there. Plus another one against Miami. That's 3. That's 7 wins right there. Plus a win against the Browns, which puts you at 8. Plus the Raiders, which puts you at 9. Let's say that you beat the Falcons, which they might not. I'm not. That's a toss-up. Let's just say hypothetically they beat the Falcons. That's 10 wins right there. You're in the playoffs. They have such a good stretch of football coming up, or good scheduling coming up. This team can easily make it in. And as much as I want to hate on them, I can't. They're just too well coached. They're too good of a team. New England, one of my main teams. I want to keep this kind of short and sweet with Carolina because I'm look, at the end of the day, they're not really a good team, I'll be honest. They really aren't. But we're through 6 weeks of football, and your Carolina Panthers are 3-3. At the end of the day, they are not playing bad football. Bryce Young is playing mature football. T-Mac he finally got his first 2 touchdowns of the season. He's been amazing. Rico Dowdle came out of nowhere, back-to-back weeks with 200 yards from scrimmage. Insanity. I love what I'm seeing from Rico Dowdle. Defensively, we know you got J.C. Horn. Their defense is a little rough, I'll be honest. But look, you're 3-3. You're starting to cook with some fire. Keep it going. Dave Canales, you're 3-3 after 6 weeks. It doesn't matter what you do from week to week. You need to lose like 3 or 4 games in a row to be out. And even then, you're 3-6. You can still maybe go 9-8 if you have a good week stretch of football. I just like what Carolina brings to the table. I don't really know what it is. They just have good vibes. I'm not even joking. I literally like this team because it's literally the power of friendship. That's legitimately all it is. That's all they are, is the power of friendship, but it works. So that's why I like them. These three teams, I don't like them. Washington, Jaden Daniels has not been the same this year. Okay. Same thing with Denver. Jaden Daniels has not been the same quarterback this year. He's making mistakes that he wouldn't last year. If you guys saw him on Monday night, football. You guys know what I'm talking about. I saw that clip way too much this week. I'll be honest. I forgot what his name is. The old Monday Night Football sideline reporter. I think the Bills Instagram account, they posted that a couple times. It's like I'm sick of that. Jaden Daniels, it was they were in the red zone, I want to say, or very close to it, and he was looking for Debo, who was open, and Jaquan Brisker picked him off. It was a basic seam. Debo was motioned from one side over to the other, and then he was running a seam. It was kind of like an out, and then he kind of cut in a little bit. Brisker read Daniels like a book, and Daniels, it was weird. He just kind of floated it a little bit. You got to put more oomph under that. If that's on a line, maybe a little bit higher, that's a touchdown, and that gives Washington another win. That gives them their fourth win of the season. But we're at a point where that's not something we can talk about. Fumbling has also been an issue for Daniels this year. He fumbled a couple times on Monday night. Without Terry McLaurin, this is not a stable offense. They have to heavily rely on Krosky Merritt, who, as much as I want to say, oh no, he's not a good. No, he's been very good this year. You can't say anything other than that. McNichols has been pretty reliable for the most part. Zach Ertz is always reliable. You can put him on any team, and he will put up numbers. Debo has been great this year. Defensively, they're okay. They don't blow me away defensively. I think I like their secondary. Trey Amos has been playing very, very well. So I like what Washington has on paper, but for some reason they just can't quite put it together on the field. So that's why I don't really like them. Second team that I'm not a huge fan of is Kansas City. I don't know why. I'm just not a big Kansas City fan this year. I don't really know why. I just don't really like them. They just seem so beatable this year, which makes me very mad. Travis Kelce's putting up the worst numbers he's put up in his entire career. I know he had a good game on Sunday night, but he is not playing the same as he used to. They're very inconsistent. And it's funny because Mahomes is playing the best ball he's played since 2018, in my opinion. He's been playing unbelievably well this year. They just can't quite figure it out. Maybe they are, and I'm just like not seeing it the right way. I like their defense a lot. I mean, McDuffie's amazing. We all know that. Connor's really good. Brian Cook, B. Cook, Cincinnati. Stud. Love me some Brian Cook. That dude can play football. He's been so good this year. I love me some B. Cook. But they just, I don't know. Something about them seems a little fishy. Chris Jones and Travis Kelce, they just don't give me good vibes at all. I just don't really know what they just seem like a first round exit kind of team, but I'm sure they'll make it to the Super Bowl and somehow win with some voodoo stuff. I don't know what, but they will somehow find a way to squeak away with it. I'm just not a huge fan of Kansas City. I don't want to keep going on about them though. Another team I'm not a big fan of, even though they're 4-1, I don't know how, but they're 4-1, is Pittsburgh. Okay, Pittsburgh. With Aaron Rodgers, yes, 4-1. I just don't see this team going far. I just don't see that being realistic. Their running game is super inconsistent. Kenneth Gainwell and Caleb Johnson, it's like 150 yards or like 40. That's not good. DK Metcalf has been a good addition to this offense, but they need more outside of DK. Maybe, Freiermuth has gotten like nothing this year. When Freiermuth is moving, Pittsburgh feels good. Maybe if Freiermuth got the ball more, I'd feel a little bit better about this. I'm a big Pat Freiermuth guy. I love me some Pat Freiermuth. Love Pat Freiermuth. But they haven't gotten him the ball that much this year. I think he has like 15 catches on the year through 6 weeks. That's not enough. He needs more than that. In fact, it actually might be less than that. So I'm not totally sure. But got to give Freiermuth the ball more. He's such a good player. He's too good of a player for him to not get the ball. DK has been good this year. Defensively, though, and I know TJ is just on another level. Don't get me wrong there, but they again, like Kansas City, they have a really good team on paper. TJ, DK, Rodgers has been playing well. Patrick Queen, I really like. Jalen Ramsey. I talked about them. Ramsey, JPJ, Slay. They have a really good team on paper, but something about them just doesn't seem right. They just seem way too beatable, in my opinion. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Comment down below what you guys think if I'm right about these three teams. I know I definitely don't like Washington, and that's not me. That's not this talking, okay? That's me talking. I just don't really like Washington this year, and I kind of felt that way after week 1. I was like, yeah, this team's not really that good anyways. So, I don't know. That's what we'll wrap up with for the Not My Guys. Through the news, which means it is time for the signature segment of the Talkin Football podcast. It's time for Dogs of the Week. Dogs of the Week are here, presented by no one. That's okay. That's not what we're here for. We're here for true dogs football. That's what we're here for. Okay. Before we hop into this, I will say thank you all for voting. Only thing, though, I will say about this is this. One of the voters, I put up the voting at halftime of the Bills and Falcons game, and Bijan had 138 yards at that point. And I put him in. I was like, he's definitely going to be in it. I put Drake London in there, too. And I was like, Jackson Dart's going to run away with this, isn't he? And he did. And based on the definition of dog of the week, he met it. Jackson Dart, I think, fits it more than Bijan. But I couldn't. You had 200 yards. I needed to put him in here. Oh, he could have been top dog. Yes, he could have, but someone else is top dog. Bijan definitely has to be a dog of the week. This dude finished with 238 total yards from scrimmage, plus only one touchdown, but still, it was an 81-yard touchdown, longest run of his career, second longest touchdown run in Falcons history, I want to say. He was just on fire. 22-yard gain, 20-yard gain, 81-yard gain. Whatever it was, he was cooking. Both through the air. I think he had 70 through the air and 160 on the ground, I want to say. Something along those lines. Even if you take away that 81-yard touchdown, he still has 150 yards of total offense, which is an amazing day for Bijan. He looked really, really good underneath the lights. Bijan Robinson is dog of the week number 1. Second dog of the week, I already alluded to him. He was in the voting here. It's Jackson Dart, who played an amazing game. Jackson Dart did 17-25 for 195 passing yards, 1 touchdown. He also added 58 rushing yards and a touchdown on the ground. It was a 19-yard rushing touchdown there for Jackson Dart. This dude, if you open up a textbook and you look up Talkin Football Dog of the Week, Jackson Dart pops up. He does. Genuinely saying he does. This dude, he's a quarterback. He's been told, slide, don't take any hits that you don't need to. This dude, nope, does not care. All he does is he just runs into guys like a running back, and that's what he does. And I love that. Tight window throws. He beat the Eagles on Thursday night. That alone makes him a dog. Dart looks like a true pro. I'm very interested to see what I'm saying after week 7, how he plays against Denver. That'll be interesting. That'll be very, very interesting to see what happens there with Jackson Dart. If he has another good week, I guess we'll see. I mean, we're 2-1 in the Jackson Dart era there in New York. So I'm very interested to see how he'll play against Denver. That's such a good defense, like I said before. So let's see how he does that. Jackson Dart, dog of the week. Now let's get into these are the true fan voted ones, and I'm happy that this dude right here got it. Jackson Smith-Njigba, man, my fantasy team knows. Oh, he killed me this week. 8 for 162 and a touchdown for Jackson Smith-Njigba. This dude is getting open at an unbelievable level. Never seen before. I'm kidding. It's been seen before, but I mean, it's just refreshing to see me some Jackson Smith-Njigba content. This dude is really cooking right now. All right. Ohio State receivers are getting going. JSN, Egbuka. Not Garrett Wilson, not so much. Olave's been pretty good. Marvin Harrison, he's been that great. That's what's hard about this. I'm like, oh, Ohio State's wide receiver university, but then at the end of the day, Chase, Jefferson, and what's his name, and Brian Thomas, Olave, Igbuka, and JSN, or Wilson, Igbuka, and JSN. I don't know. Speaking of Ohio State receivers, Cardinal Tate, I'll talk about him more when the draft comes, or I'm sure I'll do something with the draft beforehand, but I'll be like, I love me some Cardinal Tate. I love me some Cardinal Tate. That dude, stud. He's a baller right there. But Jackson Smith-Njigba, back to the other Ohio State receiver. This dude has been so good with Sam Darnold. They are on the same page, same book, same line, same period. Everything is the same with them. They're just clicking and slinging Sammy. He's working in Seattle. Slinging Sammy in Seattle is slinging. That's what he's doing. And he's doing it well. And Seattle's a good team. I'm excited to talk about them in the power ranking video because they have a very interesting spot there. Another dog of the week. I talked about the Patriots before. Drake May. I think this is back-to-back weeks. Yeah, it is. Back-to-back weeks being named dog of the week for Drake May. 18 of 26, 261 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. He also had 28 rushing yards on the ground. He was the leading rusher, actually, for the Patriots, interestingly enough. So, good for Drake May here. That's what I have in my notes, at least. Drake May. I mean, this is like when you're in elementary school and you're skipping steps up the stairs and you're like, yeah, man, look at me. I'm like skipping steps. You're skipping one little tiny step. That's like Drake May is like that kid, but doing like 15 of those steps in one step. You know what I'm saying? Like this dude is just cooking. I mean, he's got like 8 different pots going, all on high temperature, and everything works. Got a little bit of Diggs over here. Got a little bit of Kayshon Boutte over here. Got a little bit of Henderson, a little bit of Stevenson, a little bit of Josh McDaniels, whatever he's calling. He got Hunter Henry over here. He's just cooking everything at once, meshing it all together. Oh, he's got Pop Douglas. Can't forget about him. He's got a little bit of seasoning in there too. Cannot forget about Pop Douglas. So I don't know if I ever said this, and I feel like I'm saying this a lot recently. I'm like, oh, I really like this player. I've always liked Demario Douglas. I've always thought he was a stud. Always. I've always thought that dude was a stud. And now we're finally seeing it. Pop Douglas is getting it done. Drake May is just Gordon Ramsay airing everything. And he's just like, you know what? I got a bunch of big pots over here, and he's somehow making it work. And I love to see it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it from Drake May. Finally taking that next step. The Patriots, as much as we hate to say, oh, the Patriots are good, they're fun this year. And they're actually can I root for the Patriots? It feels so odd doing that, but they actually feel rootable with Drake May. I don't know. Drake May, back-to-back dogs of the week. It's time for top dog. I knew he was going to be the top dog after he played in primetime under the lights. The Scat Pack is howling. So is Kyle Brandt. This is the Angry Run. This is the second time he won Angry Runs twice in the NFL already on Good Morning Football. Twice already through 6 weeks. Top dog goes to Cam Scatabo. This dude cooking. This is the second time, I believe, he's been a dog of the week. This is the first time he's been a top dog. He was a dog of the week during... Just want to make sure I got this right. He was a dog of the week during... Am I silly? He was a dog... Not during week 1. He was a dog of the week. Okay. During week 3. Okay, I knew he was a dog of the week at one point. See, I got it right here. Dog of the week for week 3. So this is the second time he's been dog of the week. First time he's ever been top dog. So Cam Scat, who is just cooking on another level. I know all these guys are cooking, but Scat, man, he makes me excited, I'll be honest. I'm so happy I got my Kim Scatterbo shirt before, we became really good, because you already know everyone's going to be jacking those prices way up. And rightfully so. He's been really good this year. I'm really happy. I mean, Saquon who? I'm just kidding. I mean, they're 2 separate players. Saquon's elusive. Scat is like a monster. I guess that's pretty much what you can describe him as, right? Thank you all for watching this video and choosing the Talkin Football podcast as a source of NFL content for you. If you enjoyed, be sure to comment. Tell me what you want to see next. Maybe I'll upload some other short episodes here and there. Be sure to follow my Instagram. It's at Talkin Football Pod. Same handle as it is on YouTube, as it is on Instagram. Be on the lookout for extra posts there. Thank you all for watching. This is Talkin Football, and that's what I got to say about that.